Alright, so I have a new tool backpack, and today I'm going to be moving my tools over to the new backpack, and I thought it would be a good chance to show how I've been using my Klein tool backpack. I got the Klein backpack, been using them since 2014. This is my third one. I think third, maybe second. Maybe this is my second one. Yeah, I've had this one for a long time. The first one, the zipper broke at some point, and this one's lasted quite a while. They have this issue where they want to tip over. My apprentice has the same one, and he fixed it by putting 2 bars inside. I'm just really careful. Well, I think it might be because it has this kink in here, it doesn't fall over. But anyway, so here's what it looks like inside. Keep my, this goes down there in the middle, and I keep this in here. This is quite a good tool. You can do lots of different things with it. It's got all sorts of angle adapters. Yeah, my multimeter goes in the middle. Plug tester. Oh, these scissors fell down the bottom. But usually what I have is, yeah, you see that? Side cutters. Sorry. Strippers, side cutters, pliers, different screwdrivers. Always like to have one of these that's quite narrow for when you need a driver bit to get in a narrow space where you can't fit the bigger ones, the bigger driver bit adapters. And then the other side, can that be seen? Drill bit, level, and this is a hatch key for opening ceiling hatches, spanner, data punch down tool. I don't use this much, but when I do use it, I don't want to have to run back to the van for it. And I don't really use these pockets. It's got these pockets down the bottom. I don't really use these. That's a temperature tester, which I never use. And these little pockets. Oh, that's got a pen in it. I like to have some pens and pencils and things here, and got a Torx bit that I never use too. I used to use this when I did a lot of prison maintenance. This was the size for opening a lot of the light fittings. It'll go straight on my impact driver. So that's that part. Sometimes I keep, what do I keep? Fuses, light fitting fuses, a couple other bits and pieces. Sometimes I got a connector strip in there. I like to have a lightweight tape measure on the tool bag all the time because I often don't need a tape measure and I don't want my tool bag to be heavy. These are the adapters that go on this tool. You can, this pops off and those pop on to get your angle adapter. Pretty sweet tool. I like carrying this because you can use it for so many different things. It's strong enough to put in wood screws, but it's also, it's got torque settings so I can do up all the power point screws and all sorts of screws without over cranking them. And then in here I keep a bunch of bits and pieces, power point screws, more driver bits, adapters. This is off a socket seat. It's good because it can get around corners and still turn. So when there's stuff in your way, that can be handy. Extension bits. I like to carry a few drill bits like this that go straight on the driver. These are good for drilling little holes for getting fixings through, or for drain holes on the bottom of power points that are outside. So you try not to let the water get in, but you always have a route out for any water that does make it in. This is Tool Check Plus from Wera. I left one of the socket sets at a job, and I'm still waiting to go back there to pick it up again. I'm not going to make a trip there just for it. But I call this the awesome set. They're not cheap. I bought it on Amazon a bit cheaper than it would have been in New Zealand. But it's so good mainly because it fits everything, so many things you need into a compact space. This thing's really good for getting in tight spaces, and everything's open. You know, I used to use a socket set and a security driver bit instead of this. It did less than this does, and it was always more work, opening and closing to get the stuff out. Here everything's already open all the time. So that's that pocket. I have a misc jar. I try to keep a couple of screws of each kind so that if I'm stuck somewhere, if I'm all the way down a stairwell or all the way out of a job and I just need one little screw, it'll be in this jar rather than having to go all the way back to the van. Tape, a couple other things in here. That's the other bit. This is the chuck that goes on the Milwaukee installation driver. Head torch, which I usually don't use. I should probably buy a new one, then maybe I'll use it. And yeah, that's a connector strip. That should probably go here. And then of course this thing, which I only got recently, but it's super handy. It's just out on the open, and I keep, I've got some double ups on here. Those are the same as what I keep on there, so I should probably pull those off and put something else on that I need, but both sizes are the common size of hex head driver. A couple of screws that I hold use this, and a posi. For a while I thought posi and Phillips 2 and posi 2 could be used interchangeably, but after stripping a few screws I've learned you need to use the right one for the job. So now I'm going to be shifting over to the new one. So the reason why I want to change over to the new tool bag is because I started using some Milwaukee Packout gear, and it's severely overpriced, especially in New Zealand, but it's got some really cool features where this will clip on. And then these go together and you can wear it. Now this will probably make it heavy and bulky and awkward, especially when, like, today I was doing a job at a panel beaters and I was having to, get that off. They just parked cars everywhere. I was having to walk between the cars when I was coming and going with my tools. Oh no, that's the one I need to click. Yeah. So, and this is an organizer I've started using. I've ordered some 3D printed. I don't have a 3D printer, so I just paid someone who has a 3D printer to make some stuff for me. But for our electricians, these dividers are too big. We need a larger variety of things and smaller amounts or smaller sizes of things from other trades. So we just need more variety. Smaller compartments, I mean. So now to move my tools in. This one is a bit of a different layout, so I don't know how I'm going to be using it yet. Seems to be a lot bigger too. There is a lot of space in here. Like before, what I was using with these things at the bottom. Maybe this will get a pocket instead of just sitting at the bottom, because that's just too big. The guy I bought this off was also an electrician who does solar, and he was saying it was too big for him. Yeah, I've been using one of those since 2014. So changing will be a bit of a... I've been using the same layout in there for a long time too. That looks good on me. So I might be losing this stuff, but I'll do that. Oh, it looks like this one's a knife pocket. I bought a new jigsaw recently because I noticed the apprentice had one and it was a lot better than mine, just because mine was, what, 8 years old? 7 years old. So I decided to get a new one for myself. Always want to have a good pair of scissors. These are quite good, sterling. don't really even use this anymore. I think that's not going to go in. My other, I've actually got this Milwaukee knife because I do a lot of stuff where I'm pushing on it and the blades keep sliding in, so hopefully this Milwaukee one, it doesn't slide in. Oh, I was thinking these, you can see it? I was thinking these pockets here would be quite good for this, but they're just too short. Well, I'll get rid of one of these double ups. Might not need these in here because I can keep those in the organizer now. It's interesting to tip this out and see what I've lost down here. I saw a driver bit down here the other day. Yeah, driver bit. I think I will keep the misc jar for now until I settle on using that all the time. My problem is there's not a really suitable spot for the misc jar. I guess I'll have to go here. This is where you're supposed to keep tape. I might just do that. I usually just keep tape in my pocket rather than worrying about having it on here. Yeah, this bag's definitely bigger. Oh, I forgot one pocket. So that's where I was keeping my screws and stuff. I'm keeping some of those things here and the long ones here. I think I'm just going to throw a bunch of stuff in here for now and worry about it later. And we'll see if I keep using this or if I go back to the Klein bag. There's a lot of space in this thing. And tape measure, that's an easy one to decide where to put. This is a lot easier to access than it was on there. This is quite a tight space in there. And I've got tons of space free in here. But I don't need to carry more tools. I'd rather not carry more weight. And there you go, that's my video showing how I was using the Klein bag and my transition to the new Milwaukee bag. Maybe I'll do a review video in a month or two after I've been using it for a while. Sorry about the poor lighting. Shot this when I got a free minute and it happened to be night, and that was the free space I was able to find for doing this. If you like this sort of stuff, be sure to subscribe. I've got lots of other video ideas which I unfortunately don't have time to make. Been meaning to make a video about my van fit out for a year and a half now. But maybe if you bother me in the comments, I'll finally get around to it. And I'll see you on the next one.